Hello, I'm Jeff Van Treese, and this is Mobilized News. We welcome you to our shows. Our guest today is Sarah Savory. Sarah is a holistic management educator. She is with the Savory Institute, which is a world-renowned institute specializing in sustainability education, particularly as it relates to management, particularly of human institutions and the intersection between social economic institutions and how they affect our environment and sustainability. So, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jeff. Nice to see you.
Great to see you again. So let's just kind of dive right into it. You do a lot of really great work in terms of educating people about management and how there's a lot of problems with our management. And some of this goes back to our education and how we perceive things. And can you tell us a little bit about that in terms of how we, come up with some way maybe to see the world differently in terms of how it should be managed?
Well, yeah, sure. So I've dedicated my life to. So my father's a world-renowned ecologist, and he dedicated his entire life to finding out what it is about human management that causes healthy land to turn to desert and causes environmental degradation. And I also grew up very passionate about wildlife, particularly here in Africa, and wildlife and the people that live amongst them. And and if you look around the world today, you'll see we have mounting mounting social, economic, and environmental problems. All our problems pretty much fall under those categories, and or our biggest problems fall under those categories. And if you think about that logically, and I'm teaching all this work to children, so I've sort of simplified what my father has done, and I'm teaching it to children. And if you if you look at all those problems and think about this logically, pretty much every problem discussed, debated, and argued about in the world today, and they are mounting arguments and problems, is a symptom of a human decision. It's a result of our management. So, no matter what problem we are discussing, whether it is to do with wildfires, poverty, drought, fuels, floods, COVID, livestock, carbon, wetlands, forests, water, cropping, fisheries, wildlife, poaching, mining, COVID, methane, pests, weeds, whatever you're discussing, any problem that you're discussing, it was caused by someone somewhere making a decision. And these knock-on consequences and the knock-on consequences of every human action throughout history can be traced back to a person or organization making a decision or developing a policy, which can only mean that our problems are being caused by the way we make decisions. So we have to look at that, and we have to change that in order to stop and reverse these continuous and damaging long-term consequences. And my father had set out on a lifelong mission to find out what was causing these things, and he discovered what was causing them. So in 1983, he finally broke through in finding out what it is about human management that has caused land degradation to increase over the centuries, which inevitably leads to mounting social and economic stability, because those things are inseparable. Everything we use or consume comes from land. So he had this breakthrough, and what he discovered, he discovered two flaws in human management, which can be found through all ages and cultures, from managing families to managing entire nations. And what he had discovered was that humans of all cultures and ages make their management decisions universally in the same way. And what he'd stumbled upon, because what he did was break down every single management framework, decision, policy in the world to the core, to where the decision itself is made, because nothing can happen until a decision is made. So at the core of every management framework in the world, he found a genetically inherited decision-making process that's identical in all, not just humans, but in all tool-using animals. And we can tell how, even if we don't know people, we can tell how they've made every single conscious decision in their life, because it's an identical process based on identical things. So I'll stop there